Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL for our Monday review with Jason Dunstall, the Chief. I'm going to go straight to the best game of the weekend, Port and Collingwood. The theatre in the build-up, Chief, was incredible, and both coaches said we want more of the theatre, we want more players throwing hand grenades out there like Braden Maynard because lived up to expectation with 2 points. But where does it sit for you? We know where Collingwood's at, but Port threw everything at them and still couldn't get it done.
Well, they didn't get it done, but there was only a kick in. It wasn't there. So this is the sort of match we want to see more of. And we've been saying it a lot this year that, well, personally, I think there's two teams that stand out above the others, and that match only reaffirms that belief. Even though Brisbane are travelling well and Melbourne have consolidated their spot in the top four, those top two teams, they look a class above to me. It was a great game that could have gone either way. We love the players getting involved in the build-up and all that sort of thing. So, you know, I love the fact that Craig McRae as a coach is embracing all of that, and they just want to promote the game. And if we get more games like that, wow, doesn't it make a difference?
Well, let's touch on the Premiership market then, because $2.50 for Collingwood, and then it's Melbourne, second favourite at $5, and Port are now $6. So they've actually drifted a little bit off the back of that game, but let's touch on Melbourne then. So if they're second favourite, their last couple of weeks have just got in by a wire. But Adelaide on the weekend, they're probably not going to play finals now. So would you consider them stiff based on their form?
Oh, 100%. So Adelaide have lost two big games at the G by a kick against the top couple of teams in Collingwood and Melbourne. And if they win those two games, they're sitting fifth or sixth. So that's the difference, unfortunately. It's a kick here or a kick there. And Melbourne, you know, what a difference it makes. I don't think they're second flag favourites in my mind. But, you know, the good judges will make those decisions, not me. They did well to win the game on the weekend, but I thought Adelaide were very stiff. If Adelaide had have kicked straight earlier in the game, it's probably a different result.
Yeah, I mean, if they kick straight and Tex Walker sitting second in the Coleman, let's touch on that while we're on Adelaide, because he's 7 behind Charlie Curnow. He's $4.50. Curnow's $1.25. But when you look at Curnow, 25 of his 61 have come against the cellar dwellers. So do you give Tex a chance, considering round 24? Guess who they've got? West Coast.
Well, you got to give him a chance, haven't you? West Coast have been very good to Charlie Curnow this year. He has just loaded up on them. But you know what? Tex kicked 10 against him earlier in the year as well, didn't he? And he gets a second crack at him. So it's made for a really thrilling race in the Coleman medal. And these two have sort of singled themselves out. Look, you can't knock Charlie for kicking big numbers against the bottom teams. It's there to be done, so you do it. I still think he's favourite to win and will probably go on and win the Coleman. But there is a little bit of value in Tex when you've got that game up your sleeve.
Yep, and the logjam around 8, 9, 10, possibly even 11 with Essendon sitting in 11th spot. So let's touch on Geelong. They went down to Brisbane, 11 points. Brisbane just creep a little bit closer. So they're only one game behind Port now in second spot with a better percentage. So I want to talk on Geelong, though, sitting in 8th, and everyone's hot on their heels in Carlton, Richmond and Essendon. So do you still give the Geelong Cats the chance to play finals footy?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely, I do. I think they're still a pretty good team. The margin probably flattered them on the weekend. They were only 2 goals out of the game against Brisbane, but Brisbane always had control of that match. They just didn't put the Cats away on the scoreboard. So never really looked like winning that one. But with the games coming home, I still think Geelong can make it. Carlton's probably the danger, and they're starting to build up a decent percentage, the Blues. So, you know, they've got a massive game coming up this week, haven't they? Carlton, Collingwood, Friday night. How big is that going to be? Now, all of a sudden, Carlton win that. Well, then we take notice and we say Blues are playing finals. But it is a setback if they get smacked by Collingwood on Friday night.
And just in between that little logjam there, so we're going to touch on the Giants. So 6 in a row. So the Fortress is back in Canberra. But dare I say it, no one had them in the equation 4 or 5 weeks ago in terms of the Giants. Now they're sitting in 7th spot.
Mate, it's a great run, isn't it? So 6 in a row, as you said, and 7 of the last 8. Toby Green is flying. He's unstoppable as a player, and he just makes things happen around him. They deserve to play finals. It's going to be really exciting. They've got a couple of great key backs in Buckley and Taylor, who just rarely get beaten. They've made a few positional changes. The midfield is back up and running. I like them as a team. I like what Adam Kingsley is doing. So looking forward to seeing them on the big stage in September.
And speaking of big stage, St Kilda, they're sitting in 6th spot. Like, it's incredible in terms of what they've done. In 2 wins in the last 6 weeks, and guess who they're against?
West Coast and North Melbourne, and had to work their bums off to get there, Dicko.
Yes. So where do you have them right now? Because everyone was talking Saints. First 4 games, they're flying, They're sitting up on top of the ladder, and now they're just slowly creeping down. But in the false positive is they're in 6th spot.
Oh, I can't believe it. I honestly cannot believe that they are still in the top 8. They're playing like a bottom 4 team. Honestly, I'd be flabbergasted if they make the finals, given the way they're playing.
And what about the injury to Ashcroft? Does that hurt Brisbane's midfield coming towards the pointy end?
100% it does. I mean, he has slipped in seamlessly into that midfield. He's actually become a really influential player. So that is, it's a tragedy for a young man to do a knee like that. Was having such a good year. It looked so innocuous, the injury as well. Didn't look like there was anything in it. So we keep our fingers crossed that he bounces back pretty quickly from that, and hopefully there's no after effects. We see him back flying again in 12 months. Makes the rising star interesting as well. I still think he's good enough to win it based on what he's done and the level that he's done it at, but who knows?
All right, finally, we talk about that logjam in finals. So 7 down to 10, even 11. I want the Chiefs' opinion. Happy for you to fire up on a Monday if you want, about the wild card round. Coaches have had their opinion on it.
Yep.
What's your thoughts?
Well, truth be told, Diggo, I don't have a strong opinion either way. From a club perspective, I get why you would hate it, because you are given 24 weeks to get yourself into the 8. And if you do that, you've won the battle over a long period of time. You then earn the right to play finals. At some stage, now it's probably not going to happen this year, but if it was 7th against 10th or even lower, you could be 3 or 4 games better off than them. And then you have one bad day and you're out. So from a club perspective, I would be horrified if they brought it in. But in terms of fan engagement, if it brings, more people along for the ride longer and keeps more teams engaged longer in the season, well, then it's probably a good thing. We see it work in other sports, and we tend to look a lot at what the American sports do, don't we? So this will be one that the AFL power brokers will be looking at pretty closely. I'm not fussed either way, truth be told.
All right. Well, hopefully you haven't got a flight today, because that excess baggage under your eyes, staying up to watch the golf with me. You sent me a text at 4 a.m. So we look incredible for a couple of hours sleep.
It was a big night, wasn't it? And great to see Brian Harmon do what he did. Thought he played brilliantly.
Yeah, he was terrific. All right, Chief. Back Thursday for a look at round 20. Appreciate your time.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports Lab AFL.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.